Hello, this session is kind of just cleaning up some mistakes and sort of filling in some random odd jobs that need to be done before I start the car up. Um, the first thing I did was I torqued up the front end. So last session, if you remember, I lowered the front end of the car onto the wheels so that I could torque it while it was on the ground and with the full weight of the car. But I only torqued one out of the four bolts that needed to be torqued in the front. Um, this time I torqued the rest, but I didn't lower the car down. The reason is I looked and it was already very difficult to reach the bolts while the car was on the stands. So uh, the other three bolts, um, I had to basically go underneath the car and use different extensions and smaller wrenches in order to reach. I figured it's impossible as once I get the car down. So better to at least torque them to spec now than not have any torque on them. Later, when I lower the car, I will see if I can access these areas and try to do another torque on it. Then I moved on to the battery cables, just the negative ones. This was a little confusing for me at first because I thought it needed to form a circuit, but it turns out the negative side of the battery just is essentially two grounds. One of them goes to a, you put a bolt in open thread right next to the battery with the negative cable in, and the other one goes to any of the bolts on the transmission bell housing. So I just took out one of the bolts that joined the bell housing to the engine. I put the cable there, and then I retorqued it to spec. I think it was maybe 47 Newton meters. And then my dealer also recommended me put one grounding cable for the engine. So that one I did any of the open engine bolts. It's a 10 millimeter bolt, and then you uh, wire it to the engine mount, but on the underside of the chassis. So what I did was I had an extra red battery cable that came in my kit, um, and I just used that. So, but the lugs were incorrect. So one side had a 5/16 lug, the other side had a smaller lug. I knew that I needed a 5/16 and a 10 millimeter, so I cut off the smaller side and I put in a 10 millimeter lug that they actually included the head in the kit. So maybe they were thinking about this, but um, yeah, I just used pliers to crimp it, and then I installed it. And then the last thing I did this session was I got confirmation that I was doing the handbrake cable incorrectly. So um, I loosened the handbrakes a lot, and then I actually I'm not sure why I took off the tunnel top, but I did. It might have been for um, tightening or loosening reasons. I don't remember now. But I loosened the handbrake cable pretty much all the way, and then you feed them through the holes in the brake calipers, and then you pull them over the hook. It was kind of difficult to feed them through the holes. So once you get the brake cable a little bit through the hole, you can tie a zip tie through the eye and pull the rest through. Um, but once that was all set, I put the wheels back on, and then redid the tunnel top, and then I tightened the handbrake cable until both sides were tightening properly when I pulled the handbrake. And then I just did a double check where if I had the handbrake down, I could rotate the rear wheels. Once I pulled the handbrake up, they were not movable. That's it.